And that. Oh. Peekaboo. I still haven't got my camera issue sorted. And so sometimes one camera works and sometimes the other. But welcome, thank you. Thanks for your patience, those of you who have been here already for a couple of moments. It's I don't even know how to begin, and yet I've got like 6 pages of notes. Today has been very all over the place energetically, and this afternoon, or late this afternoon actually, here. So if you are not in New Zealand, we are in it's 6:03 p.m. on the 1st of December 2022. And if you don't know who I am Sharon Martin. I am a messenger for Gaia, and I work in the auspices of something called Inner Sanctum Studios, which is like my creative space, the Cave of Gaia. And I do work. I do other work. I do sessions for people and work in the Akash and do energy healing and readings. And I want to tell you just briefly that the most incredible missions are coming online for people, and they blow my mind what's coming. So let me begin. Let me welcome you, Charlotte and Jen and Stacey. I'm sure that there'll be other people who join us shortly. I've been sitting in the living room with these energies, and I have to tell you that this morning I just felt bliss. I was like, yee-hi, we have moved through, hello Dawn, we've moved through, like we've popped through another bubble. That's how it felt, and I do believe that we have. And then this afternoon again, the energies, or in the last couple of hours, the energies have been really dense, really heavy on the body, very pressurizing. I've been feeling a bit nauseous, as though someone's been doing really deep massage in my abdomen, not even on it. And that's been my experience of the energies right now. It's probably the most that I've felt them in terms of feeling like I'm being really squeezed. So please forgive me if I repeat, because I know I've got a couple of paragraphs that are from the other video the other day, but thank you for joining me and for joining Gaia. And it's quite special in the in my weird wacky world in the center of the earth with Gaia. It's just full on. It's so incredibly busy in the inner earth with traffic. So she says, the big hurrah comes this month, and I get told that there are 3 levels or angles to this. So the first is the COVID lie, the second is the Great Awakening, and the third is the Grand Reveal. So what she says is that there will be revealed to humanity in general that there were decisions made based on evidence that wasn't real, that there was scientific evidence presented that was not based on data, and that it will become obvious to people that the effective treatments that were cheap and available for such a thing as this in a generic way will be shown, and that both the vaccines and lockdowns were related to control and power and fear mongering. And so that will be the kind of general overview that the world will be given during this month. And the grand reveal, which will give this initial information to the Earth's population relating to this sort of infiltration by the darker controlling power elements and the money loop and potential bifurcation. So that's become clearer now that we are going to have a bifurcation. And so I'll talk to you more about that. So many are now entering the end times of healing. So we've heard that word before, haven't we? So that's why I just wanted to pause there so that you can grasp that this is not the end times of our world. It's a fairly good match to Revelation's end times, but it's not the end times of our world. It's the end times of our world as we know it. And so we are going to come to a choice point. This bifurcation is a choice point of new world order or new earth, and that's what people will be being asked to make a decision about. Well, what I know is that in general that decision's already been made, but I have got some more information about that which I'll speak to later, which gives some interesting clarification about that. So yes, now entering the end times of healing, integrating, and then the focus will be more on embodiment of new codes and energies, along with dreaming up and co-creating the new. I've gone through and numbered all the pages because they are all over the place. So Gaia shows me this illumination light now covering a third of the planet and increasing. She showed me that maybe a week ago. The solar flares will now have a much greater impact and penetration because it has reached the saturation level of being more than a third. The level of exhaustion that many light workers are feeling is because of the extreme transmutation they have been working with, and also as the transductor, the transducer, that we've moved more into that moved more into that adjective, I guess. The idea that we are now bringing energy through us that we haven't had before, and we are changing it so that it can come into the earth. And so this is so that we are learning to hold this higher light to affect the collective and the transmutation that they are participating in regarding the energetic fields. So this is akin to I'm just heating up here. I'm so hot. This is akin to very concentrated, intense effect of a period of work to get everything over the line for ascension. So I know I've already said all of that before, and so I apologize for that. We've had this huge shift again for the collective. It's been interesting that what has shown up maybe several times today and yesterday is this this idea of people feeling as though they're not connected anymore. So that's kind of been showing up in a number of ways, but the people showing up with that recently are very attuned, highly attuned, and it's like they're having an inner questioning about, am I still connected? But it's actually because people are becoming more embodied. So their energetic body, their multidimensional aspect is being more grounded, more grounded into their physicality, because we need to do this in the physical. And so all of a sudden they're a little bit disorientated about, well, am I who I thought I was? Am I still connected the way that I was? How do I get information anymore? And it's just like a blip. That's a little crossover time, a little bridge between now and the next. So if that's happening to you, don't be worried. We're just in preparation for this, another leap of faith, another bridge, another movement, another new level, another filled up place. And you will have heard me say, some of you, the other day, if you're an athlete or a sprinter at the Olympics, you've completed your training, you've qualified for the finals, you've attended the games, you've done your warm-ups, you're on the track, you're in the starting blocks awaiting the start gun. And so that's a very good match with where we are in preparation for the ascension wave. And then the next sort of level that some of you will also have passed through that and be in this next level is something different. And I won't tell you, because it's not that it's a secret, it's just that I'll get myself out of order. So I have already spoken about our being in the ejection portal. I have already spoken about these slave codes. So go back and watch the previous video, the time of rapid acceleration and its effect on your body, releasing the slave codes. So this is just so fascinating to me. So this release of these slave codes tied into the foundations of our earth that have been released, this has given us this extra impetus by releasing the negative aspect of that. So now we can come more into our own. But what we might be experiencing is it moving through our field and having an effect on us. Okay. So we are moving into phases now of this awakening and ascension that we have been moving through already. But in general now, there are a lot more people in this camp, in this group. So a lot of people are having this unidentifiable feeling of something being not quite right, but not being able to put their finger on it. This growing unease in the world, in one's own world, and things around us not making sense. So for people who are newly awakening, that is their experience. And I want to remind you to be very, very compassionate, because you've already had a lot of the experiences that you have had. If you think about this, if we're all on this road, and we're all having these experiences, and some of us have them at different times on the road, but everybody's pretty much everybody, and there's a bit more information about that, are moving along. And so just remember that, everyone is at their place and in their space and in their timing, and that they won't necessarily have the understanding that some of you have. So this increases, Gaia is saying, this things not making sense increases along with nudges to question reality and having a bigger picture inquiry. So you will remember this, you people who are here, when you were awakening, it was like, what the hell? I have spent all my life pursuing these things that seemed so important, and now they're just glossed over. I don't care about them, and I don't want to know about them, but I do not know why I'm here or what I'm doing. And it can be very depressing. It can take us into sort of suicidal thoughts. It can really help us to be feeling very worthless about ourselves. So this is coming along with a collapse of our 3D world and their 3D world, and the things that ought to drop into place don't. You know, you might remember we're left hanging. We're left in no man's land. We're my big joke about it was I was waiting for a letter from God, and the New Zealand Post Service is so crap, nothing ever arrived. I honestly thought I got so prompted. I left my job. I love that I thought I was, here to change the education system. And then I got told, no, this is training and you're to be a teacher on a different level. And I left my job and I sold my house. And that was like, no, you need to sell. And I know why, because if I hadn't sold my house, I would have gone back to my job. And then I went overseas, and I honestly got back, and I thought, by the time I get back, I'll know. Something will happen. While I'm away, something will happen that points me in the right direction, and it just doesn't, because we're shifting out of that 3D mind, mental chatter, driven from the cognitive section of our being. And for me, I had to learn how to get into my heart, and that was no small feat, I can tell you. So then the 3D collapse happens in the same way, and we think it's going to drop in. The avenues of exploration get shut down or rearranged, or you get rerouted, and timelines shift. And we're put on a continual wobble often, so that we can drop away some of the guard, some of the overlays, some of the old ways of behaving and patterning. And then we have that same thing with the collapse of the emotional awakening. So I was going to do this in 2 separate videos, and then I thought it kind of all rolls in, because even though this might not be what I'm speaking about now related to you, I'm reminding you to remember what it was like for you, because a really big proportion of our world is going to be in this position. So this emotional awakening, often triggering depression, anxiety, and blocking out the world, lots of crying and teariness, trying to make sense of things and having a real struggle with that. I think that's all. I'm on a new book. It's a bit crazy, really. I think this book I started in September. Yeah. So this book here, these are my notes from GAIA from September, close to the beginning of September till the end of November. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see where you people are up to. What are you feeling before I say any more? Say hello to other people. Hi, Dawn and Lauren. Early afternoon in Perth, heaviness starting to kick in again. Yeah, super dense and heavy. High solar winds bringing in new energies. Yeah, and they are really tuning us up, just as you say. It's like, the muddy waters. Hi, Craig. Dawn, feeling very disconnected till about a week ago. Yeah, good. Yeah, it's good when we feel like we're back in connection. Started to reconnect and ground back into myself over the last week. Oh, that's great. Thank you, Craig. Rachel. Oh, thank you, Rachel. Yeah, I thank you. I really appreciate that. I feel that that's part of my work here. Kia ora, Sally. Hi, Jackie. So now we're up to what's come through for some of that came through earlier for December, but now we're up to what's come through pretty much today and yesterday. Let me find the order of it. Okay, so big picture thinking about December. Strong creation and manifestation energies. underpinned and supported by very quick and speedy energies. So be careful what you wish for. So these, as I spoke about in the last video, so I won't go over that again, but the particles that are coming in through the magnetosphere are, because the magnetics of the magnetosphere have been reduced, there's bigger holes, there's more coming into the geomagnetosphere, and those come into the toroidal field. And so in my understanding, which you don't have to believe this, but in my understanding, what I'm showing is that we have a toroidal field in our heart space, in our energetic heart space, and in our body, and then we have one in the planet, and each of us links in through our central vertical core or the north-south axis. So these particles are zooming in to the toroidal field. So they're in our body, they're speeding up our particles. That's definitely something related to all this heat that's in our body. And then the heat also comes from the transmutation. But we are in this time of super quick turnaround manifestation energies. So if you are wanting to be practicing that, and if you're wanting things to show up and be your feedback loop for manifesting, now's a really good time to do it. But just be very mindful so you can. I've been I have to say, I am learning to be a manifester, but I have clients who are just incredible at it. And I don't know why, but I've been guiding them to imagine they have like a creation basket, like this beautiful net basket that's right and sort of right here in front of them. And over here, they're like, oh, I want this and this, and I want to be this color and do this. And no, not that, but I want this and this and this. Into the creation basket, leave it there, expect it to arrive any moment. That's how fast things can be. So you can be kind of curious with it, you can be light with it, don't hold on to it. That definitely doesn't work. But yeah, I've been talking to them about that. So create like a creation ball or creation bubble, put everything in it, and then fire it into the basket like a basketball, and let it come to you. Have that expectation, that anticipation it will arrive in perfect timing, and then let it go. Don't be like checking in the basket. Don't be referencing back to it. Just do that, and then don't be in wait for it either. Be in the knowing that it's imminently arriving. And also what is interesting to me is I get given all of these energetic things, and then what I find out later is that links into the astrology. And Lauren on here is really good at sending me info, and she said, would you like me to, her and her friend Amy, we would be happy to send it to you beforehand. And I said to her, no, I really appreciate you sending it, but it's really good for me because it authenticates my channeling. So I get shown the energy of tension and chaos in this month. So that came a while ago. Those words were in continual. The tension comes, I believe, through the astrology. I did see something about that yesterday. There's something like a whole lot of squares in our astrological lineup. And I know very little about astrology, but I know that squares create tension. So I imagine that's where the tension channel word came from. We're going to be in continued destructuring and destruction of structures playing out in our world now as we are being shown aspects of society breaking down, like what's going on in China, like what's been going on in Brazil, this people standing up for themselves, what's going on in court here at the moment around parents' rights to have choices about their child's welfare. And all around the world, there are different things happening that are enabling people really to say, no, I'm not. I'm not going to do that. And I want to talk to you about the energy of that, actually. So also we are moving into the solstice, winter and summer, and on the 21st during this month. There's a lot of notable dates in the astrology and in numerology this month. And Gaia has said that there will be maybe 3 or 4 significant events. So also that in many ways we are both in December. I mean, for me, all year it's felt like February runs into March and March runs into April. And what I want to say about December is it runs into next year. So we are both closing out and beginning our 2023 year now during this month. So we're going to be having extreme pressure on the body. And I just wrote this part an hour ago. For me, very strongly in the abdomen. I felt quite nauseous. We will be tested. We will feel at times that we are in the middle of a blizzard. Hunker down. It will be short-lived. We're in the beginnings of the end, in huge transformation, both inner and outer, and inner of the planet and outer of the planet. The old house is coming down now. So think, the story that we have used about building a new house. So the old one is all coming down now, ready for the new foundations to be laid. And I want to say this to you, any unfinished components your life, job, relationships, location, house, they are likely to be pushed along this month. Don't make them happen and don't panic about them, but just be aware if you are feeling nudged to move, to shift, to do something new or different. Follow your guidance on it. Don't be in resistance. These solar storms and the impact of these accelerated particles is what we are feeling the squeeze from. And it may also come with transmutation heat in the body. You may feel as though you are being stretched, pushed, pulled under intense compression, turned inside out, nauseous, and have extreme weariness. You are not alone. We have to get through this, but we will. And we are surrounded by benevolent beings who may not directly be able to help us, although you can call in your guide, but they are protecting our domain and our boundaries, and they are cheering us on. The whole multiverse is excited about what we are going through. So think the last 400 meters of the marathon. We've slogged away, we have run uphill and downhill and around the lake, and we are now back on the track, running the last lap to head to the finish line. This also links into these emotions being close to the surface. It's, when you're really tired because you've been doing something that's required a lot of endurance and not enough sleep, and maybe a lot of judgment from other people, and you just feel like, I just want to fall down on my knees and roll up in a ball and go to sleep, or cry, and it's all this release. It's all designed to make us grow and be bigger, better, and more amazing. I wanted to read this message that came in from Gaia on the 30th, which some of you might have read. The energy today is streaming into us like cosmic rain and filling our heart spaces. Breathe, beloveds, breathe. A lot of energy will be directed at your heart space today. Think heavy rain on a dry, muddy puddle. The rain brings the mud up to the surface. That's your wounding. Speak it out loud to yourself. What comes? What do you feel and sense? Allow yourself to open up and to be vulnerable. Do not go into story. Drop into your heart and into gratitude for what is showing up, for what is ready for release, for this movement towards expansion and greater love, a love of self, a love for others, and an ability to receive more. This energy may bring up a lot of emotions for release. You are being invited to address your wounds as they rise to the surface through these beauty and love-filled energies. See whatever comes as both positive and as ready for release. Let the emotions that come arise, bubble out, and even over. Notice, acknowledge, and thank these feelings for showing up and showing what may need healing. Ask to be shown. So just be as incredibly present as you can possibly be. I've been using the idea of just do exactly what is at your feet, what is right in front of your feet that requires doing right now. And if that's lie down, then have a lie down. If that's have a glass of water, do that. If that's, I don't know, then just be for an extra moment. Don't get caught up with moving ahead too fast. Oh, thank you, Dawn. You use it and give us some feedback. So Lauren is saying that we get astrologically boxed in. There's no movement. That's what she's been taught. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of, slapped around, smacked around in order that we move stuff out or that we move our body somewhere. So put no pressure on yourself to do anything other than what is essential. It feels as though we popped through. Yes, this was this morning I wrote this. I just went blurry. Thank you, camera. It feels that we have popped through yet another level again this morning. The image that came was helium balloons, gradually, gently soaring upwards into the heavens. The impact of the release of these slave codes will be felt during this week as these energies move out and up from our world, and as humanity begins to experience greater ease, peace, and freedom. Global illumination has now begun. A radiant light is evident. Hearts are expanding and linking. A sense of collectivism is building. Hold space and stay out of fear. You could see that as your greatest enemy is to be in fear. In the love of your beautiful heart, where peace, ease, and beauty sit, add in a dose of grace and alignment. Stand in the strength of your own divine sovereignty. Emit this out as a beacon and as a frequency to affect others. This is hold the line on a higher level. You are so loved. I haven't finished. I wanted to talk about the energy of, I still haven't finished the notes, but I wanted to talk about, you would have heard me talk about what you persist resists, or what you resist persists, and to think about that in terms of this bigger picture. So we can be in this energy right now of wanting to push and make things change, and even I felt that when I heard the Radio New Zealand interview with Sue Gray this morning. I'm like, ooh, that's really pushed my buttons, and I knew I had to just move through it, because the power that sits with me, and I want to say the power that sits with you, is for us to rise above it, to go up a level, to go an increased frequency up and transmute it. That pushing against it creates an energy that holds it in the space. And so this is kind of this dilemma, really, you could say, that we're in energetically in our world, is that there's this, and so this was always my dance with the truther movement, really, is that the truth movement has its place to get people to awaken, but when it pushes through into punishment, judgment, and all of the rest of it, that's a vibrational lowering of frequency. So I'm not saying I have all the answers. I am just saying I feel that that's something for us to be aware of, that that frequency is everything here, and that I see that as our role as holding the highest frequency as well as we can for as long as we can, and to encourage that around us. Okay. I'm not sure if I've done that in the right order. Hold on. I don't think I've mentioned the word bifurcation yet. I will introduce it like that, with that word bifurcation. So bifurcation is where we're going along like a branch and then it forks. And so I've been shown, I've definitely missed a part. Here I was, I thought I'd done so well with labeling all of this. I mean, essentially this month, well, no, I did. This month, this choice point. So today, though, Gaia gave me this word bifurcation. And she said, we're coming to a bifurcation. And I said to her, well, how does this link to previous soul choice? And this is what she said. So bifurcation is, you think of a branch that comes along and then it forks off into two. And so I've been seeing that we're really all on the same timeline, and that there might be some kind of drop off places with it, or people in a different place on that timeline. And so I'm not necessarily clear about how all of this fits in, but this is what I got given. So there is a small percentage of humanity who have arranged to investigate a less organic timeline. This is a slight amendment to the plan. These souls have been given permission to explore this and the ramifications of a higher technological world. And to me, visually, it showed up as like a bubble within our world, as though there's this transparent sphere, and it's so there, it's that world within our world. That's how it showed up. Their soul desires are being met, Gaia said. It looks like a timeline deviation, more apocalyptic, robotic. It seems they get to live this out for a short time, like a play within the play. And it goes hand in hand with then reporting back to humanity. I just find this really interesting. What could have happened had they made that choice? So it's like some people have expressed this desire to do that, to explore that more transhumanism, greater technology, less organic, and that they have been granted permission to do that. But it's like a trial, it's like an experiment, as though they live it out. And so this is the other thing that blows me away. It's as though they live it out in compressed time, and then there's like a shift, a change, as though they go over there, they live this out in compressed time, then it can just be pulled back in. If that makes any sense to you. So they, in compressed time, to circumvent what's been going on, it's like a little little sideline trip, and they'll come back into as though they go out and loop back and into, they won't lose any time. They're going to gain an experience to share with the rest of us. And Gaia said about 5% of the population is going to do that, and that in some way that helps all of us. It's as though, I find it hard to to explain. In my head, I understand it. It's as though like removing, no, it makes sense if I say it this way. It's like removing, it's judgy, it's judgmental, a weed from your garden and putting it over there in another garden where the weed can grow without killing the weed. And so this is, yeah, there's that part. And then we are building for this Ascension solar flash. We're building for this, and everything is now looking on track for this year, for the end of December. I just feel that all through my body. I want to know what you're feeling. If you say that to yourself, we're having our ascension this year. This is the end of this month, everyone. We're in the last month of, well, here we are in New Zealand anyway. But we're, everybody else is just about there. That's what I get. There are a number of significant constellation points during December. I hear Gaia saying there's an 85% likelihood at this moment, like this on this day, and that it's building rapidly. She says, hold on tight. We've got this. Sleep definitely will help. Do not be too rigorous in your body movements. Everybody will be in the right place at the right time. And so I'll just sort of remind you about what I'm showing about that. So there's a variety of kind of aspects, and some I know everybody will get, and some only some will. So there's likely to be a solar flash, a sonic boom, and some celestial notes. And so the celestial notes, you might you might feel those coming in on the airwaves, in like into your non-physical audio, into your clear audio. You might feel that as though your angels are talking to you, as though your angels are singing notes in your ears, and that might be the forewarning. You also might have, if you're very tuned into the minute, you might just have this kind of feeling. I believe, and what I am showing is that it's so we're so delicately held, and that each of us will be guided to go there, lie down, whatever, that many of us will just lie down, go to sleep. So when we do go to sleep, it's always been my advising to people through Gaia that we get out of the way then. We're not in resistance. We're not fighting it. We'll go to sleep. We'll receive this light. The light will change us. The solar light will alchemize our cells. We have been in training for that. Gaia has been calling all of these solar flares that have been coming this year. Remember, ascension training, body fitness, ascension fitness. And so this is so that we can withstand it without being fried. So if we just got this big one, we would have just been basically incinerated. And so we've been in the training with this, and that I don't know how long we'll sleep for, and I really don't. I haven't asked that. I feel excited about it. It's in a way, it's why we came, right? It's why a lot of us here came, to hold space, to work with the energies, to help humanity, to help Gaia, to work with Gaia, to this is almost my favorite thing to say, so that Gaia, the planet, can be returned to its rightful place in the galaxy as the crown jewel of the universe. And so that's where we are heading. And yeah, so here we are on the 1st of December. And so this is likely to, the percentages are looking like that, and I guess we'll get an update, but yeah, within the next month. Let me come back to the channel. Hello, Amanda. her Reiki sessions, Amanda's a Reiki practitioner, have been extra peaceful lately. I think it must be what clients need. A lot of people are really in their deep contemplation of what the hell is going on. It's a lot of people, their lives are really, the people who are just awakening anyway, their lives are really falling apart around them. Very strange things are happening for people, in terms of, relationship shifts and home relocations, and all of a sudden the desire to sell something or move somewhere else or shift countries. It's very strong, and it's all about being in the right place at the right time. But we won't be in the wrong place, and if we've kind of missed a clue to be somewhere, we'll be rejigged for that. And I know that on here there are quite a few people. Hi, Sian. Sian. I like to say people's names correctly, but I'm not sure. It's very new, so there's quite a lot of practitioners here. Well, there's a number of practitioners on the chat at the moment, and I believe that many of you will get a lot busier, because that's what I've been told, that we will get a lot busier. A lot of people will need some help to understand about energy, and it's a whole new vocab, it's a whole new experience, and so that'll all be part of what we will all do. And they a lot of them. Oh, I think I saw the person on here who I've done a session with yesterday, and just like mind blowing, just mind blowing. And I think that I've had 3 like that in the last week. These just holy moly, holy moly, what a big mission. But if you've got it, you'll be up for it, and they will. Oh, hi, yeah, Jim. They will roll in. Will be also, even if like I don't. Today I wrote myself a note to tune in about my next level of work, because I have been pretty caught up with what I'm doing, and I thought, oh yeah, but I got this really interesting message today from my Divine Masculine, who said to me that he had been visiting Gaia, and that he had been so I'm telling you, he knows this in his consciousness now, and that he now had information on our mission, and that Gaia told him that he now knew things that I didn't know. So I thought that was quite sweet and cool, because I do know some things about our mission. But yeah, it's just amazing, incredible. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you, I genuinely mean this when I say thank you for being here in the world, because it's all people like you who are holding space and who will give security to those who, for whom this is all new. Oh, yeah. So the other thing about this month that I mentioned in the other video, Charlotte's saying you make me giggle, is that this giggling, this laughter, this joy frequency is very strong coming online. And the other thing that I'm just getting right now is that there is likely to, it's interesting that I'm doing this, isn't it? There is likely to be a greater I even want to use the word implosion of elementals. So as I'm using that word, what I get around that is that So they are very fourth dimensional often, and but we will physically see them. So during this month, don't be surprised if you see them. So the elementals, they range from being like this tall to being our height. So the large fairy elementals that oversee areas of the forest or the rivers or whatever, they are quite tall, and yeah, so I think we're going to see more of that. All right, so I will send you so much love from my heart and from the heart of Gaia, and thank you so much for joining me here, and I will see you again soon. What day is it? Wednesday. I cannot keep track. I have to look in my booking sheet or on my phone. I don't think it says anything here on my... No, it just says the date. All right. Blessings. Many, many blessings.